everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Kat. I'm a wife, a homeschool mom, and an avid reader. For everyone else, welcome back. The last few weeks, I have shared books that I've bought based on the cover, books I have bought based on the title, and this week I thought I would share some books I bought based on the author. Many of these have become auto-buy authors, meaning that as soon as they release a book, it's on my radar to get it. And the first one I want to talk about is actually a great summer read, and that is Emily Henry. This one is beach read. I also have People We Meet on Vacation, and I have read Funny Story. Yes, Funny Story. No, not Funny Story. Book Lovers. Funny Story is the next on my list. In these, Emily Henry does a great job of just writing a very lighthearted romance that still has some different struggles in them that the characters have to overcome, and it doesn't feel cheesy, or at least to me, it doesn't feel cheesy. And yet the books, are going to end on a high note, and so this is one of those books that I love to read, or one of the authors I love to read during the summer, because I want that lighthearted, fun read. Another author that I shared in my last video is Marie Benedict. I have enjoyed her historical fictions because they really go in depth into characters of history that we may not know as well. In this one, it's Einstein's wife. In Lady Clementine, it's Churchill's wife. The personal librarian is a obscure librarian that we don't really know a lot about. There's not a lot in history about her, but Marie Benedict has gone on a deep dive and found these characters, or found these historical figures, and written amazing books about them. She has definitely become an auto-buy, which is how I actually ended up with Lady Clementine, because at the book sale, as I shared, it was sitting on the table and I recognized Marie Benedict and had to get it. So some other titles that Marie Benedict has written about characters or historical figures that are lesser known would be Carnegie's Maid, The Only Woman in the Room, The Mystery of Mrs. Christie, Her Hidden Genius, The First Ladies, The Mitford Affair, Daughter of Egypt. So she has a huge backlist that I have to check out and see which characters in history are a little more hidden, and I really enjoy just diving deep into these lesser known historical figures, and as in with the other Einstein and Lady Clementine, the women who stand behind other famous men. So while Marie Benedict is writing historical fiction, another that I really loved and have continued to buy from this author is Carrie Maniscalco. This series in particular is a historical fantasy, and in this, there's just so much in here that just captures the imagination. Similar to similar to Marie Benedict, she takes a historical event or figure and makes a story around them. So in Stalking Jack the Ripper, we're looking at Jack the Ripper, who history doesn't know a whole lot about. We know the events that got the person the name Jack the Ripper, but we don't know who Jack the Ripper really was. So this was a fun one to see not only how Carrie Maniscalco did handled this mystery, but also how women in the medical field were treated during this time. Another series by Carrie Maniscalco that I have read is The Kingdom of the Wicked. That one, I believe, is purely fantasy, just set in a historical time period. The offshoots of characters I don't think were actual historical people, but I've had so much fun looking into the books that or into the times that Carrie Maniscalco writes for. As far as science fiction goes, my go-to pair for this one is Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. These This is the second series that I read by them. The first one was Illuminae, the Illuminae files, which I really loved because of the format it was written in. It was written in a way that it was all like redacted files, and that's how the whole story was told, was through files or redacted files and video recordings. Almost, if I'm not mistaken, it was even presented as like evidence for a case. In Aurora Rising, they took a more traditional approach and wrote it in story form. And I just really loved the pairing of these two authors in their space books. I will say I have also enjoyed Amy Kaufman's Fractured Light series that also are set in space, those sci-fi vibes. But other books by both Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, I have not enjoyed as much unless they are in this sci-fi genre. Haven't really had the same connection with their romance or fantasy books. But sci-fi, they definitely know what they're doing. And the last author to share with you that I have today is, of course, Brandon Sanderson. With his books, I believe I'm looking at my shelf. I started with Mistborn and really enjoyed the world building and the plot of the book. I will give the warning / caveat of with Sanderson, there is a reason why there is the term Sanderlanche, and that's because Brandon Sanderson spends so much time in probably the first 3/4 of every novel, really setting up the big events. You have big events throughout the whole book, but setting up the main event of the book or main events of the book takes a lot of time and a lot of world building. And so then you get to about the last 25%, and it is just action, 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 action. It does not stop. And so I have had so much fun reading his fantasy and seeing how all of the Cosmere books connect together. I've read Mistborn. I've read the first era of Mistborn. I've read 4 of the Stormlight Archives. I still have number 5 to do. I've read most of the Secret Projects, and I've read Brandon Sanderson's YA sci-fi. Now, the YA sci-fi does not connect into the Cosmere, but all the others somehow or another connect, whether it's just one character popping in throughout the other books. It's really fun to try to find that character as you go through. But Brandon Sanderson, his writing is amazing, and I just have really enjoyed his books, but they do tend to take me a little longer to get through that first 3/4 of the book because I need to absorb so much information and world building. But great author, and is very consistent in putting out his books. He usually releases 1 to 2 books a year, if not more, as we know with the Secret Projects. So, Brandon Sanderson, I don't think that there are very many people who haven't heard his name, but he is an auto buy for me. All right, so there are 5 author pairs that I will almost always buy their books buy their books almost immediately. I do have a few that I need to catch up on their recent publications so that I can complete my author collections. But until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.